Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. My name is Katie O. This is Moon Mama Musings. Welcome back to my living room for another energy Peephole for today, the 9th of November, 2021. We're in a waxing crescent moon in the sign of Capricorn. Yeah. Today is the pregame show, I heard. There's some big things coming. The main event is about to begin. And we're still in a little bit of the warm-up phases. We're in those last little bits where we're just kind of psyching ourselves up to run onto the field. You know, like I see like a football team standing in that, like an American football team standing in that like corridor, you know, like waiting, like everyone's like pumping themselves up to run out onto the field, you know. It's not quite begun yet, but we're like literally just in those last phases before we run straight into the battle. For some of you guys who are in extreme anticipation of whatever you feel is coming to you, some of you guys are not feeling so hot about it. Some of you guys are getting a little anxious, truth be told, about the oncoming energies or gifts that are coming towards you. There's been a lot of work towards breaking apart foreboding joy in the last little while, and I believe that it was at the crux a self-confidence issue, a self-worth issue. And I think that right now, in these last little phases of getting ready to run out onto the field, we may not be fully healed yet, but the thing is that we're not so worried that our healing, the fact that we're not fully healed is going to stop us now. Before we were worried that we couldn't even engage because we had healing to do. Now we know that we must engage, in fact, in order to solidify whatever healing is left. It's not time to wait anymore. We've done the majority of the work, and the little things that need to be done now are stuff that you can't do alone. So you've been asked to collaborate in the last weeks. And you've been asked to share your experiences. And I believe that we are literally on the verge if we have not already done so. All right, let's talk about the aspects of today. There are three. The first and foremost being the moon in Capricorn is trining Uranus in retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Now, things have been tough through Uranus retrograde because Taurus rules sort of the second house and our values and the way we like build things up around us. Uranus in Taurus, first of all, and it has been for a long time and will be for quite some time, it's fairly challenging because Uranus is a planet that pulls things down and Taurus is a sign that wants to build things up. So we have some conflicting energies with regards to this. And especially when it's in retrograde. Uranus in retrograde has stopped sort of the energy of just like springing things on us, an unexpected change. And it's almost asked us very, very firmly in the last couple of months to sort of take responsibility for our own actions, take the matter into our own hands, take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and not wait for things to just fall into your lap anymore. It's like there's this fine line because you're doing your law of attraction, you're doing your manifestation thing, and you know that you need to keep a certain amount of like aloofness about it because you don't want to be attached to the outcome. You don't want to be attached to how things get to you. You just want to be able to clue into those energies of the feeling that you're going to have when you have your wish fulfillment, right? So it's a bit of a catch-22 though, because you know that you have to be in your receiving energy and your feminine energy sitting back and waiting for the universe to provide. But you know that there are still things that you must do yourself. And that it doesn't just, sorry, there's going to be sound, big truck. No beeps? No beeps? Yeah, we know that we have to sit back and wait to receive, but we also know that when the time is right and when it's appropriate, we do need to take action. Nobody's going to do things for us, right? Nobody's going to bring our gifts to fruition for us. We're the ones that have to energetically align with the things that we desire. And I believe this whole Uranus retrograde is sort of really encouraging us to, get over that idea that if I do nothing, everything comes to me, like that I don't have to work too hard to get stuff. I was talking to a friend about my time in school. And throughout the majority of my schooling, I never really had to push and make an effort to get good grades. And then as I got older, all of a sudden I got a little bit of a kick to the teeth when I realized, oh my God, okay, I can't just like listen in class and take notes and get by anymore. Like there's effort to be done. So I do feel like we're having kind of Energies like that popping out right now. So today we might feel extremely ready for towers to fall, and we don't care anymore if it's going to be painful, because we're so committed to our forward growth, that we're willing to listen to Uranus and say, all right, fine, we're taking the bull by the horns. We're going to do what we have to do. Sure, it's going to be uncomfortable, but we got to go in now. We're committed to forward motion, and we're not waiting for the towers to fall around us. We're pushing the little button for the dynamite to explode. Okay, the moon is also in a sextile with the sun, and I've got here that the ego and the subconscious might not always agree, but I do believe that we're kind of feeling more confident with our guidance, with our feminine energy, with our intuition, with this moon in Capricorn. It's showing us how we've really overcome a lot of our shadows, and that how we've come to a much more secure place, and that we have a real backbone emotionally now. And I mean, the sun in Scorpio sextiling this is that the sun in Scorpio wants us to change the way that we put ourselves out there, the way that we bleed our inner selves to our outer selves. So for our subconscious to finally be like, yep, you know what? I believe that when I get a gut feeling, I should listen to it. Or yes, I believe that when I feel I have a download from my guides or my angels, that it's not just me making things up. That I believe that this synchronicity and these signs that keep presenting themselves to me are not just coincidences. And I really like it because I believe it's healing us. It's not only showing us that our healing is very, very, very much more than underway. In fact, our healing is like basically already come to fruition. But we're feeling super confident and super good about it, and it allows us to do that last like little extra pushes of healing. The moon is also sextiling Neptune, which is also in retrograde, but itself in the sign of Pisces, which kind of brings us to some like soothsayer stuff where we might not necessarily like to look through that foggy window, but the foggy window doesn't keep us from seeing the truth anymore. The foggy window is just, it's just something that passes in front of our eyes, and it's another relative aspect I'm hearing. It's just a filter of relativity. Yeah, it's like we can look through the rose-colored glasses, sure, but we're not enchanted by them anymore. We see the facts. Like, we're not just looking through the lenses and accepting it as reality. We know that we've got glasses on our face. You know, we know that that's not the way our eyes normally see. We know that those filters are there because of maybe your shadows. Yeah, maybe you have old habits that make you see a certain person in a certain light, or throw yourself so wholly into new projects that you neglect your own sense of well-being. And I believe that that is no more. I believe that we're done all of those shadowy things anyway. But we're being confirmed it by realizing that, oh my God, if I would have been in the same situation a few months ago, I would not see this situation clearly. I would not understand the situation for what it is. I wouldn't have been able to say the right things in that interview that made me get noticed to be offered that job. I wouldn't have recognized this person that I've just met as such a beautiful, compatible person for me because I was still too caught up with an ex. I don't know, whatever it is for you. Some of you guys, you're saying, you're finally looking at yourselves and you're going, you know what? For a long time, ignorance was bliss. But I would never be able to go back because you understand what kind of devils sneak in. And you know that it's not worth the heartache. Yeah, the ignorance of not really knowing what the maybe, like, for some of you guys, it's your spiritual gifts, you know, like you've really cultivated your spiritual gifts. Neptune is definitely a planet of spirituality, right? So you've cultivated a lot of your spiritual gifts and they've become quite effective, and you're almost like, sometimes I really just wish I didn't know. Sometimes I wish I couldn't tap into somebody's energy. Sometimes I wish I couldn't speak to ghosts. I don't know. Whatever it is that you identify with. You had a past where you were really concerned that maybe you'd made the wrong decision in allowing these doors to open and allowing your third eye to blast away and your crown chakra to activate. But you're realizing now that, you know what, even if you could do it, even if you could shut that eye again, you wouldn't do it because you realize how much shit accumulated within you by you being ignorant in the first place. It's like all of these things, if you would have cultivated these gifts maybe 10 years ago, maybe you would have had a little bit more of a handle over these things that you're going through, right? And you would have maybe not become so bogged down by patterns, by little mistakes that became patterns, that became personality traits, that might have became things so ingrained in you you didn't even know you were doing. Yeah, this is a very specific example, but if this resonates with you, I do believe that you're saying, you know what, it's not worth the heartache to have my eyes shut anymore. It's not worth the heartache to pretend like I don't know what the hell's going on. I see how it screwed me over in the past, and now I really do want to, like, we got to resolve it. We got to change something here. Yeah, and I do like that. I like that a lot. Okay, let's get a card of a day. We have the Rose Edition Threads of Fate Oracle right here. And I get one. Hey. Release. We are in Scorpio season, darlings. Lots of planets are in Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about death and rebirth. We have bloomed in such a way that we do feel absolutely capable of releasing anything and knowing that something better will come into its place. We're understanding so profoundly that divine rejection is divine protection these days. And we're not afraid of things falling away. We're not. We're this happy little froggy guy is just like leaping off this flower of some sorts. And he's bringing parts of the flower with him. Look at like he's wearing a flower on his back as he leaps from this one. It's almost like he was trapped between layers of this flower. And when he decided, you know what, bling, he's like blasting himself forward so strongly that he's actually like taken the foliage that he was hiding under with him. You know, it's very. I talked a little the other day a little bit about sort of like these like explosive displays of emotion, and I believe that maybe this is what it is. Maybe some of you guys are absolutely elated to be free from something, really jumping for joy, so fucking pleased that you don't have the chains around your ankles or tying your hands behind your back anymore. Dare to dream is under the deck. And I believe that what's hidden from us is right now we're so happy with this idea that, oh my God, I've moved away from that old energy, that we're not even realizing how we have like the perfect capacity to really make this even better than it already is. It's like you thought it would be good to release that thing, and it's better than you thought it would be to begin with. Like you never thought you would be able to release it in the first place. So now the fact that you're like actually like, oh my God, here we go. Things are happening for me now. You're even more elated. But with this Dare to Dream card, I'm hearing that you really, really, you're grasping that gem that's been stuck in a terrible rock for so long. And now they want you to celebrate. They want you to enjoy this feeling. But they also want you to channel it into literally painting the picture of what you want your next months, years, days, hours even to be. You know, ask the universe for what it is that you want. You have the gem in your hand now, and you can create whatever it is that you desire. Anything that you desire. You just have to dare to dream. I'm hearing some of you guys have had really, really big dreams in the past and it bit you in the arse. So you are worried about, you know, encountering situations where you feel the same way. But no, this time it's totally different because you're totally different, and you're being encouraged seriously to reach for the stars and to ask the universe even for the seemingly impossible. All right. Just a few from the bag of tricks. All right, we have inspiration and I get what I want. All right, there we go. That's just what I was saying is you've been inspired in the past, but you like were taught to not to overcompensate. You overcompensated a lot when you felt like it's like you you would have a dream, you'd get some inspiration, and you'd be like, I'm gonna go get it. And because you were so worried about getting bitten in the ass, you would just overcompensate and you would end up overdoing it and it wouldn't end up coming to fruition. It didn't end up working the way that you want it to. But right now you are newly inspired and you are totally going to get what it is that you want when you put your mind to it. We have lessons and orphaned. Some of you guys dealt with some serious abandonment issues and you've really unraveled them lately. And if you've not yet come to completion about it, this is what you've got to look at, my darlings. What is it that's made you feel orphaned in the past? And what can you learn? How can you build from that instead of letting it hold you back? Demand and receive. Guys, ask and you shall receive. The universe is reiterating it right now. Ask and you shall receive. Be very clear about it. Ask what you shall and you shall receive. And last but not least, making sense and hide. All right, if you're confused, just take a little time for yourself. They're saying there's no shame in taking a few days with other people. There's no shame in wanting to meditate all day. There's no shame in wanting to do something for yourself. If you need to hide in order to make sense of things, go for it. But don't overcompensate. Don't run. I'm hearing whatever you do, don't run. because this thing that is triggering these feelings in you, oh my God, it's totally different, and it's got the potential to make you really, really, really happy. So claim it, claim it. All right, I'm out of here. I'm sorry for anything you're going through if I've made you feel a certain way. Thank you for being a beautiful being and lending your energy to the circuit that I hold so dear. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Ascended Masters, angels, and whatever other energies have helped us get these clear, concise messages for our greatest good, whether they be found right now, or in the near future, or in the distant future. They are timeless, and if you've been drawn into them, there's something here for you. I love you to the moon and stars and back, and I accept this, and I hope you do too. But if not, it's all good. Next time. Bye.